There we go, I was about to say. Alright, so today we're going to go over useful idiots and how the left is exactly that. Again, it's one of those things of this is nothing new in history, people. The left has always been used in order to create communist revolutions and overthrow countries. It was done in China, it was done in Cuba. Pretty much all of them that did it used leftists and Democrats, people more to the left, in order to do so. Now, we'll skip over some of this because I don't want to read the entire thing, but let's start at least at the beginning. Recall that Hillary did her college thesis on his writings, and Obama writes about him in his book. I don't know how to fuck... Saul, I guess? Alinsky? Is that it? Again, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Died about 43 years ago, but his writings influenced those in political control of our nation today. Educated. We're gonna skip. That's the thing, I wanted to get at least to there. Let's go here then. Anyone out there think that this stuff isn't happening today in the US? All 8 rules are currently in play. There are 8 levels of control. How to Create a Social State by Saul Alinsky. So, socialism is what always leads you into communism. Just remember that. Now, healthcare. Control healthcare and you control the people. Poverty. Increase poverty levels as high as possible. Poor people are easier to control. I'll read that again. Poor people are easier to control and will not fight back if you are providing everything for them to live. And will not fight back if you are providing everything for them to live. You see why they want universal money? Just you get a paycheck every month. You don't have to work or anything. You just get money. You know, you don't have to get free housing. You know, you should be forced, if you have multiple rooms in your house, to allow other people to live in it or be taxed more. You starting to understand that, and we'll get into taxation and why that's in here. That's the thing, taxation is in here. That goes into poverty. Let's continue. Debt. Increase the debt to an unsustainable level. Now, what have Democrats been doing nonstop throughout Western nations? Let's go, what is the left doing across all Western nations? Overflowing them with illegals and pretty much tanking their economies because they can't afford to pay for all the illegals. Canada is shutting down their mail services. That's right, you're going back to the old school days of mail services where it might take weeks for you to receive just one letter from a person. So they're canceling the government-run mail services in Canada because they have to pay for the illegals. That the money there's not enough money to go around. UK, which, you know, is allowing shit tons of illegals to come in and doing nothing to stop it, wants to create digital ID social credit systems in order to so-called control the illegal immigration. If you don't understand how communism works yet, it is create the problem, give the solution, which is less freedom. They create the problem, which makes your standard of living go down and possibly your family members die. And then they give you the solution, which is, oh, look, we could fix all this, but you need to give up some freedoms. You need to be willing to have less of that and be more controlled in order for us to fix that. That is nothing new. That is how it's worked throughout history. If you don't know this, read some history. That way you are able to increase taxes, and this will produce more poverty. That's the end goal here. is to destroy the economy, increase taxation, and make you poor so that you're easier to control. Alright, let's move on. Gun control. Remove the ability to defend themselves from the government. Remove the ability to defend themselves from the government. That way you are able to create a police state. You understand? Welfare. Take control of every aspect of their lives. Food, housing, and income. Food. What do Democrats say? It should be free. Housing. What do Democrats say? It should be free. And income. Universal income. What do Democrats say? It should be free. You shouldn't have to work for it. Which is the welfare system. They want everybody on a welfare system so that you're lazy. That's the main thing. They want people to be lazy and less likely to fight them. Education. Take control of what people read and listen to. Take control of what children learn in school. What are they doing in the school systems? Indoctrinating them. What are celebrities pushing? Leftist propaganda. What is the media pushing? Leftist propaganda. What does social media do? Censor for leftist propaganda. You starting to understand yet? Religion. Remove the belief in the God from the government and schools. If you don't understand why they're so anti-God, but they side with the Muslims, it's because the Muslims would help them kill off the Christians. They somehow think that they can control the Muslims, which are way less easier to control than the Christians and more likely to kill you before they're going to listen to you. So, good luck with that one. If that's truly what you think, you're going to become a Muslim country when they start genociding everybody who is not Muslim. I'm sorry, they are not going to listen to you at the end of the day. They're going to pick their religion over a godless communism because their form of communism is under a religious state. Sorry, not sorry. Those two communist systems do not mix. There will be only one. It's Highlander rules. That's how that always plays out. You eliminate any pushback from those two communist systems, and it becomes a power struggle, which, again, the Muslims are more likely and more willing to create terrorist groups to do large-scale suicide bombings against people because they believe that dying for their religion is the most honorable cause possible. So good luck telling them not to do that. Class warfare. What is going on in the U.S.? Divide the people into wealthy and the poor. What do Democrats always complain about and say? The rich are the problem. It's these evil corporations. Well, this is where that comes from. This comes from a useful idiot that is being used by an elitist in order to create a socialist communist system and collapse a country. That's what's happening. It's one of these things of it's time to start waking up to history, people. We can't keep ignoring this, and we can't keep, expecting the most uneducated of us to understand what's happening. And, now that it's gotten so bad, I feel like going over something like this would actually have some kind of anything. People would care about it now that it's gotten so bad. Way before this, it was just a thing of, oh, that's conspiracy theory. Well, everything that's happening is right here, and I'm reading it to you. I believe this was a paper done by Hillary Clinton, if I'm correct. I'm not 100% sure, but the first person to write about this, I think, was the Saul Alinsky person. This is what Hillary did on it, or this might be Saul Alinsky's. I'm thinking this is possibly somebody else, maybe. Again, I'm not 100% sure where this came from, But it's on point to what is happening right now, and it's what useful idiots are. If you've never heard that term, that's what anyone from a communist country refers to leftists that helped turn their country into a communist hellhole. That's what a lot of people from communist countries refer to them as, because that's exactly what happens. And the leftists are the first to die. China, after the revolution, Mao said, I don't need any more revolutions, and he sent all of the people that he turned into the Red Guard, the leftists, into the fields, where millions of them died. That's what it is. They were sent into forced labor after the revolution, because they didn't need them anymore. They got their power, they instilled the communism, and they can control everything. So there's no need for another revolution. It's time to get rid of you. Alright. Wealthy and the poor. This will cause... I'll just start over. Divide the people into the wealthy and the poor. This will cause more... Wait. Wait, what? Discontent. Okay. Since it was separated, I was kind of fucking having problems, and I'm dyslexic, so the C was a different letter for me for a little bit. It changed after I kept going back and forth. I hate that shit. That's why I have so much trouble fucking reading, and I never like to. And it will be easier to take tax. Easier to take tax. The wealthy with the support of the poor. Wait, what? It'll be easier to take tax, the wealthy... Or is it easier to tax the wealthy with the support of the poor? I think that's what they're trying to say. It'll be easier to tax the wealthy with the support of the poor. When you say easier to take tax the wealthy with the support of the poor, I think that's improper grammar right there. Does any of this sound like what is happening to the United States? Well, does it? Well, does it? Alright. Nice scheme. No. World conquest by communism. World conquest by communism. What does the WEF talk about? Pretty much all of this stuff under a digital social credit score system like China, a one world government under communism. Let's continue. Described by his converts as useful idiots. The useful idiots have destroyed every nation in which they have seized power and control. The useful idiots, again the left, let's go back in history and look at every country, and it's the left, has destroyed every nation in which they have seized power and control. It is happening at an alarm. It is persistently happening at an alarming rate. Sorry, again, letter differences in there. I have to continue on and come back for the word to go back to normal and I can get it right. There was a D in here for me, bro. Why was there a D? At an alarming rate in the US. It is difficult to free fools from the chains of their rever, is that the word? Revere. Revere. Rev. I'm thinking part of it isn't in here. I gotta look that up. I don't know if I've ever even seen that. No, reverb. There's reverb. I don't think that's a word. Is it a word? Let's look up. Let's see if there's a definition. Oh, it changed it to reverb. Yeah, that's the thing. I can't go down to do that. It would have made it faster. It's reverb. I got reverb. Yeah, that's not a word. Okay. I'm just being sure that it's not like some super old ass word I've never heard before. Because there have been some instances where people have said something and it's like some old timey thing that people used to say, and I didn't understand what the fuck they were trying to say. Alright, I don't know what the last word's supposed to be. But, you get the point of it's difficult to free fools from the chains of their... I'd say at this point, it's difficult to free fools from the chains of their own oppression, is what I would say. Because America is one of the least oppressed countries in the world, and it's always after the useful idiot collapses the country and takes control, instilling communism, that the countries become some of the most oppressive dictatorships that kill their people in the world. Well, I wanted to just go over this and make sure people are aware, because honestly, it's one of those things of, I'm not really playing games enough to do videos on it. I don't want to turn into a channel that does Battlefield videos, so I'm not going to do a video on Battlefield, but I am going to keep playing it, so it's just one of those things. And I've kind of been doing more in life, mostly bullshit, but, trying to just be more active and stuff when I'm not in pain, so, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna fuck off now.